Good morning, everybody. What's going on? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. What a great morning. I love that music. It really gets me going. It really gets me in a good mood, as does saying good morning to all of you. Yeah, John will check that out this morning. We're going to check out everything. We're going to get into it all. Everyone seems to be dialed in already. So we're going to go ahead. And this is going to be a really important, exciting session. I think we're all going to walk away from it feeling pretty great. So let's get into that. All right. Good morning, everyone. That's right. Justin, you got to be in it. Right. All right. Let's take a look at what's going on over here. We're going to start with Bitcoin. I don't know the structure of this session. This show today is going to be a little bit different. I'm just going to follow the flow. I'm going to go cover everything that we need to cover, which obviously includes first here Bitcoin. Obviously, we're going to be taking a look at what's going on with the dollar. Everyone I know has a pretty solid read on that. We're going to look at that. We're going to be taking a look at gold and silver, and then we're going to look at all those pairs on FX that we were watching yesterday for setups. Tomorrow, later today, 1 hour from now, we have the ISM, non-manufacturing PMI. The expectations are a little lower than the previous month. That's a big number. Let's see what happens. And then tomorrow we have non-farm payrolls. All right, everybody. Let's start here with Bitcoin. First of all, it was brought up yesterday here during the live stream. It was also brought up in the Conquering the Markets Telegram group this morning about the possible head and shoulders on Bitcoin. Okay. Now, if that is a head and shoulders, and I still don't think it is one, we're going to look at everything. It could be though, right? There's one thing that's really important here. First of all, I could care less about like being right as far as an opinion is concerned. I just want to be on the right side of the trade. I just want to be on the right side of the market. I'm just sharing my insight here. I hope that going over the charts together gives you some type of clarity. It doesn't mean you have to agree with me or not, but my analysis could either firm up your position because you agree with it, or firm up your position because you don't. That's what we do. All right. So if this is a head and shoulders, by the way, we are probably targeting, there's the neckline. The neckline happens to be our trend line, which busted out this morning. And that brings us down to somewhere around 98, right? 9,800. But that's also closing the CME gap, right? Or close enough to it that they'll pull it down for sure. I wrote CME. We got a lot to cover this morning. It's going to be a little bit of a different flow, but it's also important. So closing the CME gap on the Bitcoin futures would take us down towards about 9,650. If this is a head and shoulders, and we're looking for this to target somewhere around 9,750, odds are the forward momentum is going to be able to close the CME gap. And that's also, it was said earlier this morning, Fiji, save some ammo. If we pull back over here, right, towards the trend line of the breakout of the bull market, as well as this confluence of trend line support over here, right, you want to be leaning in. That would probably be the last great buy opportunity. Not that this isn't right here this morning, which I think it is. I added here this morning. I think it's a great place to add. And then the next place to add, again, could someone add as we close the CME gap or right around there? That's a good place as well, or down here. The reason being is because you could get some spikes in these areas. Even right here, this could be a spike up. Let's see where we close. Let's see if we close back above this today. If we do, then we could all say that, well, that wasn't a head and shoulders. What I think it is consolidation, right? Could be a head and shoulders. I'm fine with that. Right. All right. A couple of just what the first thing I was looking at here is our downside. Right. I think that's the most important always, to be aware of your downside, because when you start seeing some big, massive moves, it's not easy. Right. But that's when it's game time. That's when it's game time, because in hindsight, you're going to be like, why was I not leaning in there? So I want you to know the areas to lean in ahead of time. Now, what else do I want to? Raul had a nice calming tweet this morning, which I'll share with you since we're on the same page, right? And he just noted in the post-halving bull cycles, right? In May we had the halving. Bitcoin could often correct 25%, right? You hear me say 30%, even 40% that one time in 2017. And throwing off the short-term traders, or giving swing traders a shot at the short side. Some people are involved in the short side. That's uber dangerous in a bull market for myself. I have no business doing that. I won't do that. This is the piece. Each of those was a buying opportunity, dollar cost average opportunity ahead. And that's the perspective that you want to have right here this morning. That's the perspective. It's never easy when the trade's going against you like that. A couple of other things that I want to add to the conversation over there. By the way, if you're not following me on Twitter, go ahead and do that. The link's in the description below. Go ahead and like that. That was a good one. What I want to show you is this. Yeah, I'm going to start here. Not with this chart, with this one right over here. By the way, Dr. Loco, are you here this morning? If anyone's here this morning, please go ahead and smash that like button, support the channel, show some love, right? Show some love, or you could wait and see if you learned something. And if you do learn something, that's the deal. You got to go ahead and smash the like button and support this channel. That's all we're asking in return. Dr. Loco, if you're here this morning, was commenting on Twitter, and this is important to look at both of these, so let's do this. What do you think about the lengthening cycle theory? All right, this is good. If you notice, every bull cycle has been longer to get to the new all-time high. I believe the money candle will be at the end of 2002, the beginning of 2023. All right, the money candle. And why I do believe it's 2021. Let's briefly take a look at this. But first, I want to show you this over here. This over here is that first cycle. You can see the all-time high came quicker. It came quicker than it did in the second cycle. So there is a theory, and maybe it's correct, that the cycles are therefore lengthening, getting longer. Now, why I do not think that is correct, and it could be, and we'll see this halving right here, is that Bitcoin is trading on a 4-year halving cycle. It is the halving of the miner's reward that causes that bull market phase and also the bear market phase. I'm not in that camp. I don't believe that. But again, I don't care about being proven wrong. I just want to be on the right side of the trade. So we'll figure it out as it goes along. But do notice this, that currently we are right exactly where we should be at this time. We're actually in the middle of these two, right? And that's perfectly fine. Do notice that first pullback comes somewhere around between 6 and 9 months after the halving. So that first big pullback, right? We're not really expecting that right now. Now, I want to add one more comment about this. And I said, check out Plan B's first comment on this thread over here. And he said, someone asked, is there, so far, or added, there is not any evidence that cycles are not getting longer. On the contrary, the current one could be faster. Maybe that's true also. We just don't know, right? And then Plan B just went ahead, and this is the part I want to highlight. He said, exactly, the current cycle seems faster. It's still early, though. It's very early. Also, the stock-to-flow model is not made only on past 3 Bitcoin cycles, but also using the scarcity of silver, gold, diamonds, and real estate. So I'm not uncertain that the longer and lower cycle theory is just wrong. And I'm not either. Right? It could be that maybe the cycles are longer and slower and longer lasting. We'll figure it all out. Even if that's the case, we're still headed. It just gives you more time to position in. All right. Another thing that I want to share with you this morning is this. And we just posted, right, the 4th red dot. And you notice, right, look at this. Each price has been higher so far. This is what I go back to the past cycles during the red. We've never put in, these are monthly closes, by the way. These are monthly closes. And, we've never put, until you get to the 6th dot, we've never put in a lower monthly close. That makes me feel pretty comfortable here this morning that by the end of September, we're actually going to be trading higher than 11,800, the last monthly close. All this, again, as Raul pointed out, those that have that short-term preference over here, they're probably getting punished today, and they're probably really nervous. I'm just trying to give you that bigger perspective as this remains an investment of a higher time horizon. And I think that this is an opportunity here to buy this morning. I do want everyone, right? Because you see that I spend less and less time in Bitcoin. Well, today's a very important day to be spending time on Bitcoin. So this is why we're just putting that little extra time in this morning so that everyone just has that situational awareness. Because why 6 months from now, 9 months from now, it's going to seem like this was really easy, this portion right here. This morning, it's not. This morning, it warrants just having that little bit of extra correct, calming mindset and knowing what we're looking at as we continue to always be aware from the high. We could have that 30% drawdown. I don't think it goes lower than this. And look at that big area of supply down over here, by the way, right? But if we trade down to 92, everyone's got to be. Why I don't think that's probable. You have to expect that it's within the realm of possibility and be prepared. All right, that's Bitcoin this morning. Thanks, John. We're going to get into everything. I'm just going to go with the flow here. So I'm not looking at altcoins this morning, and the reason being is because the market, the crypto market is all revolves around Bitcoin and its halving cycle. Bitcoin is the piece here, right? So that's all that matters. By me giving you the situational awareness of what's going on in Bitcoin, I'm talking about all of the crypto market and altcoins, right? So, Chainlink was down 10% yesterday, 10% today, down into this area of support. If you are long-term minded on altcoins and cryptocurrencies. And I believe that alts outperform Bitcoin once again in this cycle, right? Now my investment is with Bitcoin, what I perceive to be a safer investment, but you got to be leaning in here to buy this morning. Wait for that resumption out for the safe entry, follow conquering the markets, and that's what you got to do. There's no need for me to get into the altcoins over here. Look at also, people want to buy up here, but this is when you got to be looking, right? This is super healthy on Ethereum, by the way. And why I mean by that was this was the breakout of the bull market right above here, 360. Look at this big consolidation base we put in. Right now, we're coming into that top of that resistance. Broken resistance, now support. So and it's a lower, so far, this could be a lower high than the last one. All bullish. All bullish. I hope Dr. Loco is here. I don't think so. I think it's a good buy, 12K in hindsight. All right. Thanks. There, right. I learned not to pay attention to moving averages. Support and resistance. All right, let's keep going over here. What else do we want to look at? That's Bitcoin and crypto, right? We started it off. Anyone wants to revert back there this morning, as they rightfully should, with a lot going on this morning, that's where you want to look. I want to get into gold. Over here. We lost 1956. By the way, what I did is this. This is 1956. We lost that support yesterday, right? So that was green yesterday. We lost that support. It's now becoming resistance. And not only that, I moved up the resistance now. You see over here, that was resistance, support, resistance. So this area, 1956 on the upside, is not going to be a problem. This is where we're going to run into some resistance now on the upside. So right around there, 1978, 1977, that's what I'm focused in on. I want you to see why and what I'm doing when I do it. But gold, long term, what's going on? All right, I wanted to get into the dollar. I'm going to focus in on gold right here. 1825. Maybe over here at 1860. I don't know. I'm focused right over here, and this continues to be this trend line, which continuous hold. We're consolidating. We have not broken down. We could break down over here. And that will lead to an extended move down for sure on gold. Let's see what happens today and tomorrow with the dollar. That might provide some type of boost either which way. For most of the night, you saw gold up with the dollar up. Here you're into a little bit of support right down over here, horizontal, and the trend line support. Be aware. This is what I want to share with you with gold this morning. It comes from over here, right? Use link, invest, went ahead and brought up this chart over here this morning, was asking, what's my view on this chart? Take a look at this chart, by the way. And, let me first note what the person who posted it talked about. We'll get into the Nasdaq and the S&P and the equity markets after we take a look at gold, silver, and the dollar. Right here it says, if we take our current move on gold from the cutoff of this trend line and attach it to 2011, we're really just continuing a bull pennant. The 2011 bull market should not have stopped to consolidate for 9 years. But what I see here, first of all, is a massive rounding bottom. A saucer bottom. That's my New York accent, saucer. This is a massive rounding bottom over here. You see that? That's massively bullish. That could lead to an enormous, this made me so much more bullish on gold, by the way, looking at that massive rounding bottom. Look at this. This is on Zero Hedge. This is like an advert up here from Phoenix Capital, right? Nevertheless, take a look at this. They're saying this was during the last gold bull market in the 1970s. Gold rose 585%. And then during the bear market, it pulled back to 47%, as gold tends to do, right? 40% pullbacks in those bear markets. And then it rose 743% off of that. Look what happened over here. Then you have the same pattern playing out. That's that massive rounding bottom. You saw a 634% move up, higher than that one. You saw a less of a drawdown, 42% to the 47. I think we're just getting started on gold. I've been clear about that. Last time we put up a 743 after the bull. What is it going to be this time? Right? Higher, maybe. Massive move ahead on gold. That remains my case, by the way. Yeah, I was thinking about that too when I saw that massive saucer. I was wondering, could that also lead to a cup and handle? Of course it could be, but we'll see. Of course it could be. Of course it could be. What's going on silver this morning? Let's take a look over here. 1,000 people here this morning. Glad to be with you all. If you're new here, welcome. Please go ahead and subscribe. You have stumbled across a rare place on the internet where you are surrounded by really, really generous, positive, like-minded people who really take a strong look at the markets and are able to just work together and stay on the right side. All right, 5K easy, right? I mean, I do not want to even need or feel the need to talk about price targets on gold. I don't know, right? We'll see what happens, but we're going to ride that until growth returns. Looking over at silver, again, to me, it still remains very, very bullish over here. What are we looking at over here? We're getting close. All right, let me put back in this trend line over here. Right, so this trend line kind of goes like this, starting there and goes up like that. Extend for me. There you go. Right, so that's what I'm looking at, and we're still holding above it. We're still holding above here. See that resistance, and then over here again, resistance, support, and then support building up. That is, as long as we're above there, bullish on silver. All right, the hard part, the part that you really want to work at retraining yourself. Jason, does TradingView have a limit on how many drawings you could have? I'm noticing some more lines are disappearing. Not that I know of. I'm not familiar with that. By the way, so anyway, as long as we're above here, above this trend line and above this last area of resistance over there, you can move that up a tiny bit over there. But that's coming in at 26.18. As long as we remain above all there, I remain super bullish on silver and expect us to resume upwards. If we lose this area on silver, and if we lose this area over here, this support line over here, this trend line on gold, at that point, we're looking for a steeper, prolonged correction. That could be the possible handle on the saucer bottom. Let's look at why we're on the metals, because then we're going to get off the metals. Yeah, Henry, we're going to look. We're going to look at the equity markets in a moment. We're going to finish with the metals over here. We'll look at palladium breaking out. First, we'll look here at copper, which again, and we've been watching the last, 10 days or 2 weeks, right over here, right since the 20th of August, 2 weeks. Ever in saying that copper and palladium look like they're leading gold and silver now and look more bullish. This looks super bullish over here. Copper still holding the $3 mark over here. A resumption off of this. That's the entry you're looking for. Palladium, this is when we started saying this is looking interesting for us, right? And since then, we went and then we talked about, I'm just reviewing here because there's no trade here to take today. But we talked about that was the target, the resistance. Then we had that pullback, and this is the first resumption out. And then we got the breakout. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful TA. That's all we could say. It's just beautiful TA, right? All right. So, by the way, don't chase this. We don't chase ever. Simon, first and last warning. We don't spam here. We don't have moderators. We don't need them. Simon, first and last warning, brother. This is a good place, but you're gonna lose the opportunity. That's okay. I don't care if RC, if you agree with me or not. And I mean that is if I'm able to provide my analysis and that gives you confirmation or affirmation in your own, well, then I'm doing my job just the same. All right. Sorry, Simon. That's so disappointing that so Simon, it's not, I mean, who was that? Don't be distracted by the trolls. They're done. RC, that's okay. You don't have to agree with me. That's not why we're here. I'm not here to get people to agree with me or anything like that. I'm here to provide some unbiased analysis to help people firm up their own. That's why we do. Enrico, how you feeling, brother? I hope you're doing well and recovering very well. Please let us know. That's definitely something that's been on my heart. I hope you're doing well, brother. All right. Yeah, thanks for that. I appreciate that. Anyone here hit the like button this morning? That's okay, RC. Again, I covered that really well for you, brother, and I took the time. But that's it. It's up to you. You don't have to agree with me whatsoever. All right. Feeling the flow from Hong Kong. All right, brother. I like that a lot. So let's go. Let's find out what we got covered. First of all, for all those who are joining late, so we could direct them, we started it off with a good and long, important look at Bitcoin. From there, we've got, and by the way, RC is just a strong. Have you watched the videos on the playlist on this channel, on the Bitcoin playlist? The first 4 or 5 videos are well researched and presented and give a very, very important and strong view of the 4-year halving cycle in Bitcoin and the bull and bear markets that it comes, as well as exactly why I have that $140,000 target. Good morning, everybody. All right, greetings. Let's check it out over here. Let's go into the dollar. I know everyone's excited to get into the equity markets, but there's really not anything exciting to get into. So we'll get into them right afterwards. If you're feeling like that urge like that, that's a sign that you have a little bit of emotions playing there. That's not good. So I'm just trying to wind that down. I'm trying to wind that down on purpose because, again, if you're that focused on it, it means you're just over positioned, right? All right, let's go. But all right, let's check out what's going on in the dollar so far. This is getting a little concerning. Like, we're now on alert for a breakout here to the upside. We see that this is the first time we've come above this trend line, going all the way back here to, what was that, the end of June. Let me move that out of the way. That's kind of getting in my view a little bit. This is the first time we've broken this trend line over here that we've been riding down, right? And now we've broken it. So that's a warning sign that we need to be on high alert over here. In just 30 minutes, we have the ISM non-manufacturing. Let's watch how the dollar reacts to that. If we break out here, right? And I said 1930. I'll have to review that. I want to review this horizontal resistance line I have with you here right now with you. That's important. If we break outside of this trend line over here, we're expecting now a counter trend move, and we don't know how long it's going to last. We don't know how long that could last. So we're going to have to spot where we have resistance and look to see where we could be leaning into. This line over here, by the way, let me pull back just a little bit to the 12-hour time frame. And what I want to do is look at that 94 resistance line I have over here, right? You could see that I have these touches here and here and here, right? And here and here. So it's a pretty good line, but I also notice right below it, you could see starting here at this touch right there, right over here also, that was resistance. Then we consolidated between these two areas, and here it was support and support. And then if I lean in right now to where we are, I also see that this is where that acted as resistance. That's at 93.80. So we got to add a line also at 93.80. It's both of those areas that we need to watch right now. And now we need to focus as the possibility, if we don't hold today and tomorrow, this little bit of trend line consolidation we're in, that we could come back down to that. So let's put that in as a guide. All right, let me come back to the 8-hour and just focus over here. This is the trend line of the consolidation we're in right now, right? We are looking at this one. They look very similar, except this one is not as, it's a smaller range, right? This one also slopes down further than this one does. Now, this led to a big move down. If we break here, we'll watch those levels if we break. We don't need to look at that right now. Right now, we need to be focused on if we break outside of this consolidation pattern, that could be and lead to a counter trend move over here. The first area that we're going to look for a rejection will be in this area over here between 93.80 and 94. If we break above that, the next areas that we're going to watch, and I'm not going to look at that now, I'll look at it if we break through there, will be these two white trend lines. And by the way, this trend line has confluence horizontal resistance right here as well. Right? So we don't need to look at all those things right now. Right now, we need to focus on what's in front of us. We're going to see whether or not we get rejected up here and resume downwards, or whether or not we break out here to the upside. That's what we are watching. Let's also look over here now, get over to the equity markets. You can see the Nasdaq down 1.5% over here. Lots of volatility coming in the last couple of sessions over here. Let's start looking here now at the S&P 500. This is where we're going to start. Now, we said yesterday in the afternoon update, for those that are just joining us, by the way, welcome. I'm trying to keep everyone, whether you're new or you've been following for a while, to be able to be on the same page. So if I'm going too fast, that just means that the only thing that means is that you just need to have that posture of just openness and watching and learning. And maybe it'll take a few days before everything starts clicking and makes a lot more sense. I can't imagine not giving yourself that opportunity. So just be patient, right? Here we could go over there. So we talked about in yesterday afternoon's update on the channel that the next 24 hours were crucial to see whether or not this trend line break over here holds, right? And that still remains the same, right? Because who knows what's going to happen by the end of this session. Right? This trend line over here, we called it the game changer if we're able to break above it. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, after this session, go ahead and watch the latest updated published video on the channel, which is going to give you a really, really good overview of what we're looking at and how important this trend line is over here, right? So if we popped out here yesterday and then come back into it, that's good. Why do I say that's good? Because then we're looking for a pullback that will give us an opportunity to lean in and buy the index. Right now, though, the only thing that anyone needs to do is neutral, right? I can't imagine, not saying anyone isn't, anyone being long, because, again, everyone knows the story. I explained it yesterday where I got neutral. We're up 8% higher, but we came into this trend line resistance here. So anyone that was long should have been taking profit. And then this over here, what this symbolizes, if we break out here above this trend line, then we're looking, right? And then we hold this, we test this broken trend line resistance, and if it's confirmed as support, then that's a buy opportunity. Then that's a high probability buy trade. That's where you'd want to get long the indexes once again. So right now, everyone should be neutral and waiting. Should anyone be short, right? Is it a good idea to jump in and short things that are making new all-time highs? Absolutely not. We don't ever try to pick tops or pick bottoms. There's no way that you will be successful in the markets doing that. If you just go ahead and make that simple decision not to do that anymore, already from the get-go, your overall performance is going to start increasing. Are we in a bear market rally or a fresh bull market? In what market? In the indexes here, we're in bull markets. The S&P is making new all-time highs. On the Nasdaq, we're in a bull market making new all-time highs. Now, the Dow has not yet made new all-time highs. Something's happening over here. The Dow over here is not making new all-time highs, but it is really close to getting towards the new all-time high. When we do have all three indexes making new all-time highs, if you ever studied Dow theory says when all three indexes are all making new all-time highs, that's incredibly bullish structure of the market. We're getting close to that. We'll see. Now, at the same time, the fact that one index is lagging and you see the S&P coming into that major resistance over here, do you have to be cautious and watch out for a correction here? Of course. Of course, because this is not yet, you don't have all three indexes confirming themselves yet. You don't have that. That's a warning sign. But more importantly, the S&P is into that big resistance line over here, right? So you got to watch out what happens. All right. Yeah, I'm grateful for all of you. That's for sure. That's for sure. Let's go. Let's keep going over here. By the way, we checked out the dollar this morning. Let me get back to the 8-hour time frame. Right? We have in about 25 minutes. We have the non-manufacturing PMI numbers. We're going to watch out for that. Let's move down. Let's move down and start getting into FX this morning. Before we do, I'm going to take a sip here. I got the green matcha tea here this morning with me. We got a green matcha. Please show this NQ line, George. I don't have a line on the NQ to show you. Oh, that line over there? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. So I can't. I don't. Let me just delete that. I didn't mean to confuse anyone right there. That's right. We got the. Thank you. Thanks everyone for being here. What an important session I felt like it was this morning, right? What an important session. Now, we're going to get into FX right now. Now we're going to go through FX. We're going to start with the pairs that we flagged yesterday as potential setups. We're going to start there. Obviously, the green one was the one that I was most interested in. We'll start with the Euro US dollar. Right, Euro US dollar is actually giving up a buy signal this morning. That's a buy entry. You got to. So basically, here's what we're doing. Let me give a quick. It's been a while. Let me give a quick 2-minute overview of how we approach this. All right. So what we're doing here. Picture that you're a surfer, right? You're a surfer, and you're out on the ocean, and you're sitting on your board, watching the horizon. What do surfers do? They're watching the horizon and they're waiting for a set of waves to come in, okay? Then that set of waves is all these things that I mark as I do my analysis every day. These yellow flags, that's the set of waves coming in, and those look like the most attractive waves, okay? Then what I do later in the evening is I go back to the ones that I have flagged yellow, and I decide out of all those waves coming in, the good waves that are coming in, which to me looks to be the best, right? So the best indicator, people looking for the best indicator there is, the best indicator is your brain. The human brain is by far the greatest indicator. If you want to be successful, spend time doing analysis on your charts. Spend way more time looking at charts than trading. Spend way more time looking at charts than trading. A lot of new traders spend a lot more time in the markets than looking at charts. They actually place a trade and then stop following the market. And then they're like maybe hours later or a day later, if I wasn't in this trade, this is exactly where I would enter. You do it the opposite way. You spend all the time looking at your charts, and then when it's clear, that's when you enter. Now, we're not going to get into the whole African feline cat analogy that we also use here, because right now we're just talking about the surfers. So out of all those waves that you see coming in, you're looking for what looks like the best opportunity for you to ride. That's how you do it. So the market is full of opportunity. There's opportunity there every day. Every day. Jesse, that's right. So there's opportunity every day. So instead of feeling like you're missing out, instead have that mindset that no, you're not missing out. There's always opportunity, and you're going to be a lot more profitable if you're able to have that patience and wait. That gets to the whole African cat and how they hunt. What do? Do you ever see a lion that's hunting go ahead and attack the herd randomly? No, what do? They watch that herd for a while. They watch it until they see their wave. What's their wave? Anyone get a little bit, separated from the herd? Is there someone that looks a little bit weaker, sicker, right? And then when they find that target, what do? They keep watching it. They keep stalking it until it's time for the attack. The attack comes quick, right? But most of the time is spent in preparation. That's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. Bum, 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 bum. Dan, thanks, brother. Thank you for being here with us. We all have so much to learn from each other. Let's keep doing that. So Euro US dollar, by the way, I'm going to go through the things that I flagged first. And then after that, we could see what might be presenting opportunities still and for tomorrow. Okay, let's go. So, by the way, this is a little weird. We have more people in here than we do likes. We got to have the correct ratio here. It's got to at least be 50% likes for the amount of people we have in here. If you did enjoy those analogies and if they gave you any type of perspective that's beneficial for you and how you should be viewing your trading, go ahead and smash that like button, show some love. Definitely appreciate that. Here you go. By the way, you can see what I did over here. I want everyone to see what I did and why I did it, right? I'm looking, this is the main trend line here. That's our important strong support. This is also strong support. This right here I just drew in is just local support that we've come into. You could see this area. That was all support. That was all resistance. This is not a big level, but it's a local level. And here we are. We're resuming off that now, right? It's at the right time of day. Someone taking a long here on the Euro US dollar, that's a good trade, right? You can see it. Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, same thing. This is something we're watching. This is also giving a buy signal right here this morning as price off of the support is making a higher high than the previous price bar. That's a place that people could get in and take a long also on the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. Now, and that's irrelevant what I do and why. I want you to see it all, right? Now, those were both nice waves. They weren't one that I took, and they weren't one that I wanted. Jason, we looked at the Swiss franc, Japanese yen. That was actually green lighted yesterday. We were actually referencing you, but you weren't here with us yesterday. We have about 18 minutes, by the way, until we get the data print of the day, the most important data print of the day. Let's watch how the dollar reacts off of that. When you get any type of high impact news event, it's best not to think what you think is going to happen and how you think price is going to react. That's what rookies do. You don't want to know what professionals do? Professionals watch what the data print is and then watch how the market reacts to it. That's what you want to be doing. That's what's important. That's the difference between signal and noise. All right, let's keep going over here. Let's look at our next Australian dollar, Swiss franc. This did not trigger any type of entry you could see, and losing this area of support. However, it's still coming back into an area where there is another support to lean off of, and it's still, let's say, yellow flagged. I don't really like it. Is that a possible, by the way, cup and handle forming now? Maybe, right? Either which way, it's not a question of taking every trade simply because there's a setup. It's a question of spotting the setups and then discerning what you feel offers the best opportunity and then taking advantage of that. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. I like this one. And you could see that this looks like a bull flag to me, by the way. That looks like a bull flag developing after that last move up. Actually, looks like a textbook bull flag over here. We came down into the trend line support over here and the horizontal support. And now we're resuming off right time of day. That's an entry signal right there. And that looks really nice to me. So again, out of the first four we looked at, one of these trades stood out to me where I figured this is where I want to put my money, right? And I'm just trying to show you the thought process that goes behind that so that you're able to go ahead and do that yourself. Swiss franc, Japanese yen. This was the other one, the green flag over here. And we were watching In yesterday's live stream, I'm not really going to go ahead and get into it today as I did yesterday, right? But Jason, if you're here, actually, and since you're here right now, what we did was I cloned this trend line and I brought it down to this touch over here, which was then giving us a second point over here. We were talking about how that was beautiful. That was a support to lean into. If we resumed off, you could see it happening right now. And that trade so far working out nicely into profit. Not sure. Oh my God. Do not listen to this guy. Oh boy. Sincerely, do not listen to me. Leave then, you know? All right. What else we have going on? Robin, thanks for that little bit of love. I appreciate it very much. And you know, you could lead a horse to water, as they say. Dr. Loco, if you did not see this morning's look at Bitcoin, we looked at your tweet this morning and gave a little bit more detailed response to it. So when you get the chance, it's the first thing we looked at, Bitcoin, in the live stream. Go back and look at that. All right. Matcha. Right, David? All right, everyone. I'm going to keep going. I don't want them to distract us from what we're doing. Here was the other thing we were looking at: euro, Canadian dollar. Does everyone see what's happening here? Right. So you did get an entry off of here, off of this support, but just a caution. And the caution is this: I see this little bit of this channel that's over here. Right. You see that? So how to manage this trade? If anyone took that buy signal here today, how you manage this trade is as you come into that resistance. This is not the first resistance on this trade. Okay. This is actually the first resistance over here. And as price gets up over into here, that's when you'd want to, right, take a small piece off and then move your stop loss over to break even and protect that trade. So just, you know, this is great. The market is just really beautiful today. What else do we have over here? Euro, Japanese yen. Again, I mean, you guys could see it today. The market is just beautiful. All the work that we put in yesterday's live stream, you could see it really coming to fruition here. Lots of good trades. We were looking at yesterday when we saw that sea of red. Someone started off the live stream with the really, really strong situational awareness of saying big red candles, opportunity. We're seeing all that opportunity play out in FX. All right. Dan, just to join the espresso, watching my position go red, not panic, just steady. Dan, thanks for that. Appreciate the shout out. Do appreciate that very much. I'm a big espresso fan. Actually, my favorite is to start with the espresso, right? And then after that, start sipping on the green matcha tea. But I appreciate the support there and the comment, Dan. Grant, all these things are so important. Sincerely, take the course. In the description below is the link for the course. If you're just starting out and you really want to get to break even or profitable a lot quicker, right? Go ahead and join the course. You're going to do that 3 to 5 weeks. That's a big deal. Then we'll be working on constantly profitable. Take the course if it's the cost next to nothing and the value is invaluable. All right. I love coffee too. Blue Bottle is my favorite. I don't know if it's the best anymore, but they were trailblazers. All right. So Euro Japanese yen. Let's look at the pound Japanese yen. So that has not triggered, right, yet, but I don't really like it, you know. And when you can hear my voice, by the way, with such hesitancy, then I just automatically move on and stand aside. That's what I'm going to do. You can see the difference at the other pairs we looked at and then to the pound Japanese yen from my voice, right? New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar, however, this is actually setting up beautiful. This is actually be one of the most promising yellow flags I have over tonight. So I'm going to make that what am I going to do? I'm going to make that a green light just so I for my own notations going into this evening. But you see this is beautiful. Why is this beautiful? Here's this big move up, right, on the New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. The trend is up. You see the trend is up. That's all you need to know. The trend is up, right? But this is now a beautiful bull flag that's developing into the support. So that looks really nice. A resumption out of there looks like that could be a really nice trade. Now, we look for high probability trades, which means we don't enter this trade until it's resuming out of it, because this could just continue going down, down, and never give a buy signal, right? And that protects us, right? So that's what we do and how we do it. What did Jesse say? Yeah, the 8 hour and the daily candles. The 8 hour candles are divided into three. There's 24 hours in a day. Divided by 3 is 8 hours each. There are 3 sessions in FX a day, right? So that really helps. And to be honest, the daily time frame is difficult to trade because you're almost like too late. The 8 hour provides much better sniper entries. And at the same time, it really filters out a lot of normal price fluctuation and noise. If you're trading Forex on the 4 hour or 1 hour, it's really difficult. You get whipsawed around a lot, and the 8 hour filters out all that noise. If you're not a profitable trader, start on the 8 hour. Maria, we started, and I want you to go back and look at it. So we started the live stream off first looking at Bitcoin, and we gave an extra long look at Bitcoin this morning because price action warranted it. So after that, the next thing that we looked at, Maria, to help you is gold and silver. So just pull back the red thing at the bottom, go back on the live stream towards the first 10-minute mark, somewhere around there, and look where we're looking at gold and silver. And that's going to give you the information that you're looking for. Yeah, oil. We were talking about, Roman brought up a beautiful chart of oil this morning in the CTM Telegram group, and he was showing he did a beautiful chart. I don't have the chart in front of me, but he showed a beautiful channel, the breakdown of the channel, and oil. And the reason I'm not going to get into oil though is because at the end of the day, right? This is like where right here. This is when I like basically forbade everyone from continuing to trade or look at oil, and oil has gone nowhere since. It's just sideways. That's not where you want to tie up your money. There's so many better opportunities out there. Could you do live streams? There's no way, Chris, that I could be doing my analysis and getting into the flow and sharing and breaking down all of this for you, and at the same time be doing timestamps. I wish I could, but that would be such a distraction. I would love for the timestamps to be there. It would be so helpful, but I can't do that. It would not be possible. What else? We have some further things we're looking at. The New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. This was last on our list over here. And how does that look to you? I mean, it looks similar. We looked at yesterday, by the way. We looked at that trend line break over here, right? This one failed. We looked at this trend line break. We looked at the retest and the resumption. That was the entry. Here's where you take a small piece off, and you should be still holding, but do you add here? If you resume off of this, do you add here? Well, it's something to look at. That's why it's yellow flagged, but then it comes down to, again, you discerning out of all of your potential waves, which one do you want to ride? This wasn't it for me. It doesn't mean it's not a good trade or it won't work out to be a good trade. Let's see what else we got going on. Oanda's a fantastic platform. Oanda's a fantastic platform. Let's do a quick review here. We have about 6 minutes until we get the ISM. I'm interested to see how the dollar reacts off of that news event. So we're going to be checking back in about 10 minutes, right? Not after the like you don't have to watch the data print, and then all of a sudden like react off that. You're never going to make money doing that. Do not do that. We'll check it out afterwards. We'll see what's going on. That's what's important. Going into it right now, again, the dollar's in this really cautious place right now. You could see it between the top of the trend line resistance over here, and finally, first time breaking out of that trend line since the end of June, right? We've broken above it, and we're just in between there. This is a really cautious area. We need to watch what happens from over here. Gold turning positive on the day, coming off of this support over here. It has not yet made a higher high. Let's see what the dollar does the rest of the day. And again, silver, it did go below the entry over there. Silver went below that entry over there, but it has not made a new swing low, right? Bullish. Bitcoin, we talked about those wicks. Have the orders in ahead of time. Let's see what happens on Bitcoin. By the end of the day, we gave a nice strong look at that. It's a pretty good look this morning, huh? It's been 1 hour, but it's been an hour of fire. It's been an hour of fire. That's not available to U.S. clients, gold and oil on Oanda. But CK, you don't need to trade gold and oil. You're much better off trading FX. The FX market is where we make our money. The FX market is very, very buy physical gold, trade FX. I don't follow the VIX, and it's only because, listen, Richard, many traders follow the VIX. I'm able to tell when the VIX is high and when it's low simply by the price action of the markets. I don't have anything to add to the conversation, and I don't believe that I should talk about something unless I feel like I have something of value to add. All right? Silver profit target 29.50. Enrico, by the way, how you feeling, brother? I didn't get to see your response. Let's take a look at price targets really quick on silver just to get, right? We're looking at, and I missed over here. I missed the take profit area, which I had, right? 29.50 is the resistance. Take profit in just below that. We didn't make it up there. We came close, right? So here's how you play this. Here's how I play this. I think this is a take profit zone. So if you get out over here and then you break through the resistance, right? What does that mean? Well, that's no big deal. If we break above this resistance, that becomes super attractive. That means that we then be looking for a retest, and then a resumption upwards would signal another buy. I'm so comfortable getting out here in order to re-enter over here if that resistance breaks, and then we confirm it as support. And then above there, where are we targeting, right? So above 29.50, I'm looking at a couple of different things, right? First, we have this little bit of a resistance, and that area was support and support and support. So, you know, the first thing that I think would happen on a breakout above 29.50 is actually that we come all the way up into 31. That would be the resistance that we pull back for the retest. Okay. Now, above there, if we get a successful retest, confirm this 29.50 as support, and then resume up, what are we looking at? I think over here, let's see, I'm looking at that area of support, which then was resistance there, resistance there. That's an area to look at. That's at 33.25. So I would be looking at 33.25 as the first area to take a small piece off, and I would still be holding. What's going on at 35.30 over here? That's a bigger level. So that's a good look at silver. I'm not going to go ahead and put those targets in until we break 29.50, and then I'll be looking at where we put that in. Now, that other level though, where we should come in right away, let me put that in actually. If we break 29.50, right? It looks like that 31 right over here. Right there. Right there. That should be where we come into before we pull back and test 29.50 to see if it holds as support. All right, a couple of minutes now to the ISM. No, I didn't take profit. I'm not looking to take profit on Ethereum until we come towards 800. So I'm not looking to trade Ethereum. I'm not looking to actually. Yeah. And I believe, of course, we trade higher than 800 on Ethereum. But I'm looking to exit my my Chainlink, Tezos, as Bitcoin's trading between 16 and 17,000. That's all. That's awesome to hear. Thank you very much. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you. I don't have a take profit on Chainlink, Brandon. I'm only going to be looking to take profit what I believe will be right before Bitcoin's first 30% pullback area, right? I'll let you know well ahead before I do it and when I'm doing it. But I'm holding Chainlink, I'm holding Tezos, I'm holding Ethereum. Yeah, is that a good place to hold above 1956 on gold this morning? Yeah, I mean lower than that. I mean higher than that. I would be, excuse me. Right here, if we made a higher high on gold here, that's a place to enter a buy. It's a good place to enter. But let's talk about that 1 second. You have this support over here, this trend line support. You have this horizontal support over here. If price goes on now to make a higher high, right? And you go ahead and you enter here, right? It's still a good time of day, right? And you have your stop loss. Where do you have your stop loss? Somewhere below these peaks, probably, right? What you're only targeting over here, right? But this is not your take profit here. This is where you would just tighten up the trade, move your stop loss to break even. Your risk to reward now is drastically improved. And I would be targeting, I would be hoping we break out of that. If we break out of there above that 1977, at that point, we're targeting the new all-time highs. So the risk to reward on the trade right here, right now, if we make higher highs there, is that worth a shot? Again, that's a question also. It is. It's a good trade, but it's a question of, out of everything you see, which do you feel is offering the best opportunity? Slightly lower than forecasted. The PMI came in, and we're gonna have to give the DXY a little bit of time to make its move here and figure out what it's doing. I just want to figure out what that was. Yeah, there you go. In line with expectations. So let's see what the dollar wants to do. Tomorrow this is what the market's looking at now next. This is what the market's looking at next. Non-farm employment tomorrow morning. That's going to be a big one. I feel pretty good about our session here this morning. It's been a good one. We're going to, by the way, next Tuesday, we're going to go back to our regular weekly Conquering the Markets live trading session directly after the live stream. That will be at 10:15 Eastern time. Finish. Boom. There you go, Eric. Looking forward to it. I hope you had a good summer. I hope you learned a lot. Eric, there's a great follow on Twitter that you should be looking at. If you go ahead and direct message me, his name is Brandon something or other, and I think you'll get a lot of value from him and learn a lot. Not about the markets. He doesn't trade the markets. But, he's got that great student growth mind perspective. I enjoy it. What a week. So we're going to keep going this morning and spend some time together, or we're calling it a day? You guys let me know. I'm taking a sip of matcha. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for being here this morning. Have a beautiful day. Wasim, here's the deal. I don't give anybody any type of like buy signals, sell signals, take profits. If you want to know those things, take the course. Invest in yourself, take the course. But you cannot be successful trading off of someone else. It won't work ever. It was a it's been a great session this morning, and it's only because we can only follow the flow of the market. It's not something you can force. You could see yesterday during our live stream, if you haven't watched it, watch that one today as a great learning experience. We did all the work that's set up today, right? That's how it works. Jason, I have no idea, to be honest. It's a great question. I don't know how, the thing is, if you get a really bad print on non-farm payroll, that could be really bullish for the markets because that's going to signal stimulus is coming sooner, right? So, of a really good print that could maybe firm up the dollar, right? And that could maybe help be the catalyst for it to break out above this trend line. Thank you, Gemma. I agree. Yesterday's session was also great for setting up everything that happened today, and then this hour of trading, I mean, is beautiful. I'm happy to be a part of it with all of you. Before the next run, do I think it'll? Let's take a look at some Ethereum over here this morning, right? So 360, that was the breakout of the bull market. You could see this area. It's right over here, right? 380. That's like cutting it close. I don't know. Of course, it's possible, but you're holding this area so far of support that we're looking at and a resumption off of it. That would be a seriously good opportunity to lean into Ethereum. And, on Ethereum, right, what are we targeting? I mean, I'm personally targeting up here, right around 786 I think we break above that. I think that we're eventually going to come trade towards 1100, 1200 on Ethereum. I don't think I'm going to be holding that long, but the DXY, I mean, we gave a really, really, really beautiful breakdown and analysis of the DXY today. It's a must watch. So the only reason I'm not going to go over it is I could not do it justice. If you want to get a really good look at the DXY, go back to the very beginning of the live stream. I'm going to tell you the order so that you could find it easily. It's probably somewhere around the 15-minute mark. Start there, go a little backwards, a little forwards. Look for the DXY on the center of the chart to find it. And what you're looking for is it's right after we looked at gold, silver, copper, and palladium. Then we looked at the DXY, and it's before we looked at the S&P 500 and the Dow and the Nasdaq. Williams, TD and MetaTrade is absolutely horrific. I have to use it for a retirement account, and it's absolutely horrific. I can't even place orders on it. I would consider myself pretty, proficient. It's terrible. But Oanda FX Trade, connected to TradingView, is a really good thing to do. Try Oanda FX Trade. You can connect it directly to TradingView, and that's an awesome setup. Brandon Zhang, yep, that's who I recommend on Twitter. And listen, I mean, I don't want to age myself, right? But I'm always looking and to learn from the youth, right? I don't want to ever get left behind. But, I appreciate just his whole mindset, approach to learning, growth, making myself better. Great follow. Great follow. Oh, I laugh at you. I laugh at you. CK. Samantha, I don't know what NJ is. Oh, sorry. Let's look at it again a little deeper. New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. Now, I have to be honest, that out of all of the yellow flags, there were two that were my least favorite. And it was the pound Japanese yen and the New Zealand dollar Japanese yen. However, by the way, the levels here, they're guides. That's not a science. It's an art, right? So pay attention what the market's doing. This looks to me like this could be possibly a bull flag that's developing, right? And that's extraordinarily healthy. You see over here the close of the candle over here, right? Or look at the bottom. So I can look at the bottom over here, and then that actually lines up to the bottom over there. That actually lines up over here where the market just put in a little bit of support and actually resistance. So that's a good line to have in. Let me move this one up. All right. You see I started over here. I focused what the market's focused in on. Again over here. And then again over here. Well, that was resistance, and then that was support. So would I like this trade a lot more if we wound up continuing to consolidate and came down into this support over here and then resumed off of it, that would be more inviting for me personally. Jason, don't let them bother you. Some people are very wounded in life and they're looking for attention. Their mother never gave them any attention, right? And regardless if your mom gave you attention or not, man up. Take responsibility for your own life and do what you got to do. I don't need to get into my own life, but I didn't have it easy. I didn't have it. We came from a big family. My dad left us all when I was little. I grew up without a father. My mom, she tried to hold everything together. I had to take responsibility for myself, right? So those that are coming in here looking for attention, don't let them distract you. I don't let them distract us, right? So, they just need a hug. Listen, I don't put a time frame on gold, silver, on when these things are going to play out. I have no idea. Someone asked on Twitter, do I think it's September we hit 2100? I have no idea. Gold is bullish. We're just entering a bull market on gold, right? What do you do in bull markets? You're looking to buy off support. Thank you, Gene. I appreciate the friendship of everyone. Not much. I think we're looking forward to tomorrow. I think we're looking forward now to tomorrow. Non-farm payroll. This was a non-event today, right? We came right in line, right? So let's see what happens tomorrow. That's the first time I ever heard that expression. I just have to laugh. Yeah, just let me know. I'm not following who they are. So if someone in the Conquering the Markets group, if you let me know, I will. We went so hard and fast the first hour, and it was a great hour that I recommend to anyone. I'm just kind of taking a breath here, and I'm just going to follow the flow as it comes. I honestly don't know even who's trolling. I'm not paying attention whatsoever to the trolls. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. No, do not buy it, David. Do not buy Ethereum Grayscale. The premium is way too much. If you want to buy Ethereum, just buy Ethereum. Don't buy a stock. Yeah, absolutely. It's my pleasure for sure. Dinkar, great. That was a classic hour, right? I really enjoy it. Let's go back and look at the S&P 500 right now. By the way, yesterday's video in the afternoon was very important. Why was it very important? The video was released as price was trading at the top of this green candle over here. And I said the next 24 hours are crucial. The next 24 hours will tell us whether or not we hold this trend line or not. We're being rejected over here. It's a big level. Do we have any type of indication yet that this is going to lead to a correction? No, right? No. Look, this was not too healthy when the market was going straight up, right? So this is actually very healthy. This is very healthy. I like everything that I've been seeing so far in the markets, including the Dow continuing to make higher swing highs now after it took out the June high. It's completely reasonable and possible now that the Dow in the foreseeable future could make new all-time highs. This is a nice controlled pullback. If you want to pay attention to what the market's paying attention to, I've kind of have not on the equity markets on purpose, but watch this trend line. I'm just going to move it up, right? I'm going to move it right to there. I'm going to move it down actually a little. Now, I'm trying to focus where the market's paying attention to, right over here. I see that was down a little further, right? Is there anything else that we came in this line? No, that line is a loner, not anything else. Just over to here, right? So I think the first area that I would be looking for, right, to get interested to see how price react into that trend line down over here. Every small, it seems like 1% pullback has been put up on the index, right? And could that happen again? Yeah, but I wouldn't chase it. I'm only looking for where we should become concerned and or alarmed that we're seeing some type of technical breakdown. And that's not occurring yet. This looks very, very bullish. This line over here, I think, is pretty important. I'm going to make it a little bit stronger. That line over there, I think if we get below that line, there you go, below that line, then I think maybe we're setting up for a bigger correction, and then we'll be targeting the support down over here. By the way, just so someone has like situational awareness before it happens, that support, I'm not going to, I guess I tried to extend the line, that 33, 39, 33, 40, that's pretty big support. That's coming in towards the bottom of this buy area, right? Now, there's also more support now up here, right? Horizontal support, I guess, in that line up there. That's coming in a lot higher at 33.50. I'm sorry, 33.95. So right now, I think the best thing to do on the equity markets is just simply chillax. Just chillax. Oh, cool. They were one of the first to say that there needs. Anyway, I can't get into that right now. Everyone has access to Bitcoin. There's, of course, you have access to Bitcoin, right? You could use. I think BlockFi is the best place to buy Bitcoin. That's awesome. Last night, my nephew who just is a freshman in college. He was just starting he wants to apply for an investment club, and you have to like pitch a stock, and the stock has to be something that is undervalued. So I was like, well, I don't think anything is undervalued right now. And they gave a list of like maybe 15 stocks that they thought were perhaps contenders. And one of them was PayPal, right? So I said, look, PayPal has a PE ratio of 94. He's like, well, that's overvalued, right? I was like, look, Square has a price to earning ratio of 234. But here's the thing. If you look at quarter over quarter, look at how much of Square's revenue is coming from the sale of Bitcoin, right? And it's explosive upwards. I was like, PayPal just announced they're now going to be offering Bitcoin purchases to all of their clients. Square has 24 million people on the app. PayPal has 320 million users. Look at the revenue they're generating. So that was the idea I gave him. That was pretty fun to do and connect with my nephew like that. Yeah, they'll figure that out, Alex. Well, I'm sure within the next few hours they'll figure that out. All the central banks are going to be going digital. No, I heard that's a good play. By the way, if you are in Canada, check out the Bitcoin exchange. Bull Bitcoin is one of the best in the industry. It might even be the best in the industry. If you're in Canada, check out Bull Bitcoin. Thanks, Gemma. That's the markets, and I'm learning every day as well. That's the markets, and I'm learning every day as well. Funding source to Gemini to BlockFi funds transfer. Do you trust this requirement? I mean, Gemini, the Winklevoss brothers, I'm completely behind, 100%. BlockFi uses Gemini's cold storage to store all of their Bitcoin. And they're also, the Winklevoss brothers are also investors in BlockFi. I don't know what FTMO funding is, Rex. Do you have a further direction you could point me in? Tesla we looked at yesterday, and like you can see Tesla right now coming into this area, this trend line over here. I think the best approach on Tesla right now is following the equity markets. And when the equity markets become attractive, right? When we say, all right, now looks like this looks like a good place to position into, at that point, then Tesla also. But right now, I still think Tesla remains, I wouldn't touch it. There's no way. I want to see what happens if we go back a little further. Right? Where's our next line? So you see the, let me zoom in. Do you see this touch and this touch and this touch and this touch and this touch? And then this is support. So I'm adding that line in over there. Right? Let me see if there's another one also to add for us. So now I'm focused over here, and then again over here, and then again you could see it over here, right? So that one, a pullback into that one, I think might be the earliest opportunity that it would start becoming perhaps maybe attractive. And it could be even further, because if we keep doing this again, if we keep doing it, it's so funny how much the pace has changed since earlier this morning when we were really flying. So I think you have one here and another one over there. I don't think we need to go that far back right now. So those are the areas that I would be looking to lean on. And if you could get an area where you lean up with horizontal support, also, even the better. No, I don't think currency strength meters are good to use. This is what I think is really the way to do it. I think that you have to do our analysis. Now, also notice the one difference between yesterday and today is that yesterday I went over FTMO. You have to complete challenges. The first is to make a 10% gain in a month. Well, you have to take on a degree of risk in order to put up a 10% gain a month. That's for sure. We're looking, right. I think that anyway. There's not the time to get into that right now, but we'll get into it. So, by the way, what we did yesterday, you could see we went through every single FX pair and then highlighted them. Today, I only went through the ones that we already had highlighted in order to see how that transpired, as well as to see which ones are still on deck going into tomorrow, right? Now, tomorrow's Friday. So what I suggest doing is every day is doing that, going over each pair. I think that you then are going to be able to know in your mind the greatest indicator there is. You're going to know over the past session, over the past few sessions, over the past week and month, which has been the strongest and weakest currencies. I think that's much better than using a strength meter or indicator. I think it provides you a much greater edge, because relying on a strength indicator, you're just looking at what's happening like this session mostly, and you don't have the feel of the market. One of the most important things about being a trader is having your pulse, your finger on the pulse of the market, is having that feel for the flow, and you got to put the work in to do that. What else we got going on today? The slide continues, right? What's the dollar doing? Dollar strengthening. Gold coming back off again, and Bitcoin with it. Now, also situational awareness, right? The into the London close is important. You get lots of sharp price movements. Don't bite. Don't follow those sharp price movements, and those are also faded. It also happens to be one of the how do you say, the most common places, the most common time of day for an overall trend change after the London close, as well as an hour before New York opens pre-market. Those are 2 times of day very important to watch. Let's look at US dollar, Swiss franc. So, by the way, I would never go long here because this isn't a strong downtrend. One of the easiest things to do to improve your trading is you make the decision from now on, you only sell resistance in downtrends and buy support in uptrends. That means one thing, that you will never pick the bottom or the change in trend at the exact moment. Guess what? That's probably the hardest thing to do in trading anyway. You don't need to do that. You're looking for when the trend changes to start getting involved and trading with the trend. Those are high probability setups. I think we're going to call it a session. First hour was where the money was. Hey, thanks for spending the time. For real. I appreciate the community more than anyone knows. It is fantastic. I love going over the chart. I love the markets. I have a great passion for the markets, and I love being able to share it with all of you. All right, everybody. I thank you. I thank you so much. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.